It is a freezing day here in DC, guys, and I wanted to show you two cars that I really like. First is this Prius. This is the Prius I've been driving, but the car I really wanted to show you in comparison, as far as usefulness, this Honda Accord from 1994 is so useful, and mainly because of this. Look at the station wagon. This is one of the reasons this car is excellent. So this is a Honda Accord station wagon. Look how useful this back seat is. But I also wanted to show you the Prius in comparison. The Prius is much more modern, and I think it is a better family car than this older one, just mainly for the mileage, but because of it's a hatchback, it feels just as useful as the Accord station wagon. But the Accord station wagon, look at this, you have the bumper here with the rubber so you can load stuff, and then on the inside there's some nice features. You have these hooks so you can secure your cargo on each side. That's excellent. And then you have these pockets here where you can usually put your tools, but you can hide various things in here, especially if you go on long trips. Then you have another pocket here. I'm not sure what this is, maybe for the jack or something. And then on this one you have another pocket where you can put stuff, but this is a very flat floor, and it makes a great car for artists, musicians, to carry a lot of stuff. A lot of people like to think that SUVs are great, but I find that these old station wagons make extremely good cars. And it's a Honda. And one thing that you will notice is that this car on the inside is in excellent shape. The cloth on this car is not ripped, it's not stained too much. You know, it's got a few stains here and there, but it's an older car. It's got power windows, power locks, it's got a light back there, a light over here, and the seats in the back are incredibly comfortable. I mean, if this car wasn't old, you could use it for Uber. And of course, this is the less desirable automatic transmission, but you know, it's a Honda, it's reliable. This thing only has 126,000 miles, so that's less than the Prius over there. But I've always liked these cars, and I've always admired the interiors of Hondas. They last a very long time. Sophie? So in the inside you have quite a few things that I like. Sophie, do you find this car comfortable? I think she does. Stay there, Sophie. Stay there, stay. She loves sitting on people's laps. She is the definition of a lap dog. But she likes this car. It's an extremely attractive car, and I like that it's a station wagon, so it feels like you're a hipster while you're driving it. So look at this. This is one of the Achilles heel of these Honda Accords. These buttons, especially this one, tends to break on a lot of these Honda Accords. So because of the action of going back and forth, and it's a $20 part, so it's kind of a weak thing. It breaks a little bit sooner because there's much more resistance on it. Down here you have your hazards, you have your clock, you also have an empty button here, and then you have your factory radio, which has got an anti-theft device, which you just need a code. Down here you have an empty thing, which works pretty well. In '94 people didn't have cell phones, but there is a space here to put a cell phone, and it's not going to go anywhere. You have your ashtray. This car was not smoked in. Your cigarette lighter. You have your automatic transmission. Then you have your brake lever, and this is kind of nice. I always like these little engineering things that people do. Sophie, you want me to pet you? She's so pathetically desperate for attention. Then you have here a pretty deep space for stuff, and it's always nice to have space to store things. And then you have your steering wheel. This one's got 2 airbags. You have your horn here. I always like the little button horns for the thumb. Then you have your cruise control here, which is a lot more intuitive than the Toyota Prius. And on the dash, typical Honda. And you can see that this one only has 126,000. Let's go ahead and start this car up. And the battery's kind of weak, but it starts right up. So one of the things that you're going to be finding is that there is an exhaust leak. That's why it's so loud. So on this side, you have your cruise control set. You have your sunroof buttons. You have your dimmer, which is nice. You can kind of push it out of the way here. And of course, up here, you have that beautiful sunroof. That works. You know, all of it works. So let me open this up. Kind of amazing for such an old car to... I like the sunroofs and the moonroofs for trips and camping because you can kind of look out at the stars. But in general, I don't find myself using sunroofs. So here's your power windows, your power mirrors. You have some space here for stuff. Let's look outside the car. So as you can see, it sounds a little bit loud because of the exhaust leak. And there are a couple of things that's wrong with it. You know, it's got a dent here, you know, just from a rock chip, but the body is in extremely good shape. There's no rust on this thing at all. The tires though, I would suggest getting new tires because they're cracked on the side. It definitely needs new tires. Let's close. Look at this, you have a really nice handle to close this. And on the inside you have one of these locks. So you can open it from the inside. So, there we go. I think it is locked in there. I've always been a fan of the station wagon. It used to be the family mobile car, but now it's just bought by hipsters. And I much rather have a station wagon than an SUV. They handle much better, they're much more comfortable, and they're much cooler. Yeah, I think that station wagons are much cooler than the SUVs. You know, the SUV craze, I never understood it. You get a bad handling car for much more money that gets worse gas mileage. And it's not like you're going on an adventure that you need an SUV. These station wagons are perfectly suited for a small family. You don't need SUVs for people that have like 2 or 3 kids. This is a perfect family and work vehicle. A lot of people get these station wagons just to do work. So that's the Accord station wagon, really fantastic. And by the way, it also has a very nice roof rack that's very aerodynamic. And this is the 4-cylinder version of the station wagon. So it does have some faults, but most of these cars are going to have some faults. You know, you're never going to have a 94 Accord with 126,000 miles that has, you know, no issues. You know, a 20-year-old car is always going to have some sort of thing that it needs. But I really like this, and I might sell my pickup truck right over there and just keep this one because it's a much more comfortable car. And for me, I can do everything I want, including carrying tools and all my equipment, using that instead of this. Now this Frontier is an excellent vehicle. It's a good work truck, but when it comes to comfort, pickup trucks are just not comfortable at all. And I much prefer the driving of cars. So when you look at this Prius in comparison to the station wagon, even though it's not a station wagon, because it is a hatchback and these seats come down. And by the way, this is a Toyota, so it's like very well built. So these seats fold absolutely flat and you can carry a lot of stuff on here. And I think they're almost as usable as the station wagon. So I was thinking, it's like a lot of people might want to buy the station wagon, but a lot of times a Prius like this is gonna be the right vehicle for you. And by the way, I have camped with my ex-girlfriend in this car and Sophie the dog, and it was a pretty comfortable car. The one thing I suggest is that you should put your head, I believe, that way, because it's easier to kind of get up. From here, like I was hitting my head on the glass, but I did like the idea of looking up at the stars with the window. With this one, as far as camping, I don't know. I haven't tried camping on this one, but I believe because of these wheel wells here, it's a little bit harder to do camping. And also it has this thing, so it's easy to hide your valuables in here. This one has the same thing, but you can remove it. But it seems a little bit better for camping. It seems wider than the station wagon here. But both of these seats go down, so if you were to push this thing down, or this one you push up, bring it down. Let's go to the other side. Push this one down, bring it down. And by the way, I haven't really opened these car doors very much. This is the old style of door handle, and when you compare it to the Prius, this handle is a much better design. It's just so much more comfortable. But with this amount of space, you could actually camp in here. Let me see if I can remove this. This is a nice way of removing it. I struggle sometimes with the Prius's crossbar. So here we go. Yeah, you actually have space to sleep in here. It feels pretty roomy. I think the Prius is slightly bigger, just a little bit bigger, but I think the Accord wagon could make a very good cross-country car. Of course, you just don't get the benefits of the Prius. The Prius you can leave on overnight and it'll keep the temperature. This one you would have to run the engine, so I don't really recommend that. This one is a good car. You know, you can get it much cheaper than the Prius, but I think the person that would get this car is definitely somebody that wants a quality vehicle to do work and just be able to have a car that's going to be lasting a very long time without having the complexities of the hybrid system that Toyota has. This is a very simple vehicle, and look, 1994 still looks great. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.